Hello and welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is well and happy, shall I say. Right, so this will be part 2 of the bonnet painting thing repair, paint recovery. I don't know what we're going to call this, but let's go outside and have a look. So it's been rained on, there's been more stuff landing on it, the birds have pooed on it. This is not going well at all, but there we go. Right, what am I going to be doing then? So, basically I'm doing this earlier than planned. I was going to let the paint settle for at least a week before I started tackling this, but I'm being a little bit impatient. I've been looking down the sides of the car and the sides are okay, and I think I can leave them alone for quite a while, other than getting that run out on the passenger side there. There's going to be a train come past right now. Unbelievable. Every time. Yeah. Ta-ta. Right, so we're going down to 600 grit, wet and dry. And we're going to flat it right the way back. I have already had a little go on this, so I'll just give it a little wipe over. God, another one. That was a train, by the way. So, if the camera can pick it up, I'm not sure if it will. So, I've got some little bits. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there. One there. There's loads of little bits all in this paint. So taking it back with 600 grit wet and dry, obviously it's going to need to be kind of see if I can get these out. Don't know if I mentioned in the last video I did go rather heavy on the paint, and then it was literally the last coat, I think it all went really wrong. So chatting to the guy who does our painting at work, he did say that my saving grace might be that the first coat, 2 coats, were quite thick before it all went wrong. So all these little bits, there's every possible chance if I keep linishing them, these might come out. So it'll be with a 600 grit, try and get it as good as I can get it, and then I'll polish up a little bit and see what the result is. But I've got the whole bonnet to do, and not only that, this was going to be done on the side anyway, so if I do this video and it works, I won't really need to record doing the same thing again on the sides of the car. Which is, it does need flattening back anyway, so I can polish it. And what it will also do is make the paint a little bit lighter, so it will blend in nicely as well. It always goes slightly light when you do this. So, right, let's crack on. I'm going to get rubbing down some more, and then I'll see if I can polish it up, so stay tuned. So I've gone straight down with a 600 grit wet and dry. I've now got it really smooth. There are a couple of little black bits in the paint, but that is like kind of half the size of what it were. Maybe I can take that one down slightly some more. I can still just slightly feel that. But as for the rest of it, where there was some real nasty blobs, those have all gone. So go over it now with a 2000 grit wet and dry, and I'll use it wet, and then afterwards we'll go on then with a 2500, so it'll get it really smooth and start polishing it back up. And then we'll just take it from there, whether I'll put some T-cut on it or some cutting compound, see if we can get it back. So yeah, all good fun. So that is the result of, if I just move around there and get the reflection of the house and the bucket, that's not with any polish. So that was basically 600 grit to get it nice and smooth, then 2000 grit to smooth it out a bit more and start polishing it up, and then 2500 and that is not polished yet. So we can get the finish. It just depends if I can get the blobs out, which there are many, and depending on how it looks once it's polished up. So there is one that's so tiny now, whereas it was almost that size to start with. I've not gone too mad there because I don't know what part of the paint that one's actually in, so it's a case of pot luck. If they end up being that big, I'm not going to worry too much. That's literally a pinhead, and we'll see now. If I but get some, I'll just try it with teacup for now, and we'll see what happens. See if it brings it back. And there we are with no more than a couple of minutes there with the teacup. As you can see there, get the shadow of the house in there, the reflection of the house, and the bucket there for contrast. And if I come this side, so that was where I've done a little bit with the 600. I haven't done that properly yet because there's still some little bits of shrinkage there that I want to get out. So if we can probably pick up, where can I find it? There it is, that one there. This little bit here, if I get the reflection of the top of the house there, you can see there that is actually, that little bit there is raised up, so I can actually take that down some more with a wet and dry, and maybe polish that one out too. If I'm being picky, like I say, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. There's a very faint dot just there, a very faint dot just there. Not sure if the camera's picking these up at all. So that was literally just, I don't know, 15 minutes spent on that little bit. So yeah, there's definitely a few man hours there, but if I can get the rest of it like that, I think I'll be happy, and may just get away with not respraying the bonnet. And if I need to, I mean, there's a little spot here, and if the camera picking that up, that's when the wife come out the other night and gone, "Oh look, what's that there?" and put a finger on it while it was still wet. These things happen. So yeah, so if I carry on with this, I'll carry on up to here. Obviously I'll do it in stages, and when we come back, I'll get the rest of this done as well, and then we'll see how it looks, see how we get on. So that's the top half of that part of that bit polished. So if I bring the house into shot, you see the reflection there. I'll try and get a close up. So looking at where the cock-ups were, looking over the top, wouldn't really see them. Focus. It basically just depends on what light you can catch it in. That one is still there, that little black dot there, but you know what, I don't think I'm going to worry about that, because when get over the top, can't really see it, and if you stand away from it, still can't see it. So yeah, I can just carry on now. Obviously do some more 600 grit down here just to smooth it out. Obviously the couple of little fish eyes there, pinholes, whatever you want to call them. A little bit of rough down this edge, and obviously once blending in there, there is actually a dimple there. I can't get that out. That's actually quite deep. You know, things like that I am going to have to live with, I think. But I think once it's polished anyway, it looks quite weathered as well. By the time I've tea-cutted it and waxed it, it looks quite weathered. It doesn't look like shiny new paint anyway. So that'll do, I think. I think we can rescue this bonnet with a bit of luck. Fingers crossed now, you know, the rest of it goes quite smooth. Although I'm looking at the other side, I will take you around there and let's have a look. Yeah, there are a couple of, obviously you can hear that, but I think those will actually polish out. Now that it's had a day or two to settle, it's you know, the paint's obviously shrunk back. That's why it's got like a kind of dull effect to it. It doesn't actually feel that bad. Yeah, I mean, there was that blob there. I mean, that is really raised up. God knows what that is. There's every possible chance I could probably pull a Stanley blade across that and see what happens. But if I need to localise it down to a small repair, I don't think I'm going to be too upset about it, to be honest. Obviously with the temperature dropping as well overnight, it has bloomed anyway, so it is going to need to be polished. But I mean, if you can pick that up, we can get it to that. I don't know why I say we. Ricky isn't even here. So I think I can get it to that standard all the way across the bonnet. It's going to hurt my back leaning over there because I'm only a short arse, but there you go. So, yeah. You might get bored of seeing a bonnet in this video. So what I will do, I will condense it down. Because there's no point me going over a complete rinse and repeat of what's going to be done over the whole of the bonnet. So we'll pick it up when I do another bit, I think, or when I finish that little bit off. Yeah, I'll finish that little bit off first, and then we'll jump over then to this side. Oh my God. Oh, this will clean up. Okay. Right, we're getting there slowly but surely. We've got a decent shine on this bit here. It doesn't look too bad. Pretty good up here, but I will give it another rub down. Because there's just a few very fine surface scratches, especially down this bottom half of it. So over the last couple of nights, I started the top of the bonnet here and worked my way down, and just because it was easier, I thought I'll give this a polish. But when I look at it, it still wants further rubbing down because it is a little bit orangey peely, and there's still some marks there that I could get out. I would imagine I can get them out a bit more, so I'm going to give it another rub down from the top here and start polishing as well. I think what it were, I was using old 600 grit. It was the same one I'd used for up here, but I think it's starting to fade as it's not getting out as much as I want it to. So time to renew the paper. So I'm only cutting it into small squares, so I don't use too much. Hang on, let me just get it out the bucket. It's only a square, no bigger than that, so a couple of inches square, and it's going to be pretty much same old, more rubbing down. Yep, pretty much the same thing. Do the 600 grit, then go over it with a new piece of 2000 and then a new piece of 2500, and hopefully we can start getting a better finish. I wanted to polish it anyway, just to see the progress on it, to see how it was going and how it was going to look once it was given a final polish. And I'll use me mop for that, I think. So the shine ain't bad. I'm rather happy with the shine. Can't grumble too much. The match is pretty good as well, so I'm fairly happy really. So I've gone over this top part once again with the wet and dry. 600, 2000, then 2500, and I'm much more happier now with that result. That's looking quite neat, I think. I've not waxed that yet or put the polishing mop on it as such. With a final detail, all I've done is use a medium paste to polish it with and put it on my mop using the red one, which is like a medium type mop. It's quite hard, so I think I'm quite happy with that. Most of the marks I've got out. There are a couple, but I think if you was to, unless I pointed them out to you, or if you was to stare at the bonnet for any length of time, you'd probably find them. I mean, obviously there's that one there that I do need to polish out some more, but I'm going to be overlapping all this work anyway, so I don't miss anywhere. But I kind of want it to get it to a standard where I can have another look over it, and if I need to do any more rubbing down, I can kind of pinpoint where I'm going and just work in a small area at a time, rather than try and do the whole bonnet all in one go. But it doesn't take long for the light to fade now, that's for sure. So as of today, it's Friday, and I'm just having an hour on it. But if I can get this, basically this half of the bonnet done tonight, I'll have a couple of hours on it then Saturday morning, because I need to get the Mighty White cleaned up for the BL show. Obviously this video will have gone out way after the BL show, and we'd probably be heading towards the NEC by the time this video goes out, of which the Mighty White will be attending. So I do need to clean the old girl up and get a show ready again. So yeah, but yeah, that's Mrs. Winn currently. So I'll be back in a tick and hopefully have some more of it done. So this is the morning after the night before. It actually got too dark to actually take any video last night, but yeah, as you can see there, middle of that bonnet now at the top is looking pretty good. Quite happy with that, although I have noticed that something has landed on the bonnet at some point and put a nice chip in my paint. So yeah, I think that there is just a build-up of the polishing compound. Maybe I can get some of that out. Yeah, what a disaster. But yeah, so far so good. It is recovering quite well. So there's just that left side of the bonnet that I want to concentrate on this morning, and obviously along the front here as well. It's just wants polishing up some more, maybe a little bit more flat in back. But I want to concentrate on that top end first, because that's the hardest bit really to work on. And it'll be fun now getting to see what's under that side of it. But progress is being made. So now I've got a couple of hours this Saturday morning to hopefully get this bonnet more or less finished off. So without further ado, I'm going to carry on, do some more. So hopefully by the time I come back to this video, I will have most of, if not all of, this bonnet complete. Well, we're getting there slowly. Obviously I've not polished this part of the bonnet up yet, although you can polish it with your fingers, you know. How cool is that? Anyway, so I've gone over that middle part of the bonnet and down this side with a wet and dry, with a 600 grit, 2000 and 2500. I've done a little bit down here, but I need some more work to do there. And I've just got this little patch that I want to finish off with a 600 and get it polished up, so I can then polish that side of the bonnet and then work on this front bit a little bit. There are a few scratches in it that will polish out, probably going over with some new 2000 grit and then another polish up. The big blob that was on that side of the bonnet, I think I've just broken through to another coat of paint there, but it hasn't turned out as bad as I thought. There was another big blob up here and a big blob up there, but I think I'm just going to live with them. And I think once it's polished up, it won't be, for me, they stick out like a sore thumb, but I think once it's polished up, I think you're going to be hard pushed to actually notice them. And what marks are there, I could probably, maybe next year, just put a little bit of paint in my touch-up gun, which only, you know, it only holds probably an egg cup full of paint, and it'll just be enough just to take these back out, I think. But I'm not going to worry about it this year. The weather's turning pretty crap. I mean, luckily I've got a dry day at least. But with the weather turning crap now, I think it'll be foolish to actually start spraying again. So I think for the time being, for this year at least, I'm just going to live with these paint faults on the bonnet. And who knows, maybe next year I can take it into work, take the bonnet into the spray booth and get it painted up in a better environment to get a better finish on it. So we'll just see what happens with that. But you know, Mrs. Winn is never going to be original. She's never going to be concours, simply because I've changed things to suit myself with the car. So little blemishes I'm not too worried about. So we keep it nice and wet with soapy water. And this is the 600 grit paper. And if I keep quiet, you'll actually hear that working. Now basically I want to keep going till it basically falls silent. Whether this is right or wrong, I have found it best to work in a small circular motion. That way I'm overlapping all the time. I've found if I go in straight lines like that, I've found it is leaving scratches, and I think that's where the corners of the paper sometimes curl round the other way. As you can see, it's curled up at the moment, which is okay, but sometimes it curls downwards, and I think it's the corners of the paper leaving some scratches in. So there's a rough part around here, and this is where there is a couple of blotches. So I'll concentrate on that area. Obviously I won't dig my fingers in like that. I'm keeping my hand flat and working in a circular motion and concentrating on that area. And then if you feel it going dry or the paper starts to grab, a bit more soapy water, and also that gets rid of any of the paint as well that comes off. And you can tell when it's actually working, because these soapy suds here will actually start to turn brown or like a goldy colour. So if I go to an area that I've already done, the paper stays silent, and as I come down you'll hear it get noisy again. So basically now I'll keep going. There's a couple of little lumps here, again somewhere I'll concentrate on just to get those level. And we'll continue like that. So another rinse, and we're now down to the 2500. And basically now all this is doing is help polish all the very, very, very fine scratches that I've just put in it. And you can hear it's very, very silent. But it does need to be kept very, very wet, otherwise it will grip. And I've probably said before that I use a lot of washing up liquid in the water, and that does help the paper to glide slightly. And another rinse. And now I'll use that worn piece of 2000 grit just for one final going over. So now that's all been rinsed off and now dry almost. A couple of little wet bits there, I'm going to worry about that. It's time now to get over to the buffing mop. I was doing this by hand to start with, but I'm getting too old for all this. So I'll be using the blue medium pad and a blue medium compound, and also that's not de-icer, that is just water in there. So basically what I'll be doing is I'll dampen the pad with a couple of squirts. That'll do. And then any part of the panel that I'm going to start polishing, I'll just give that a little spray like that. Now what I'll do is take the lid off, because this stuff is really, really, really thick. Is I'll just put a couple of blobs like that on the pad. Maybe a bit too much there. So just a couple of little blobs like that on the pad, and now I'll set the camera up again and I'll show you what's next. So hopefully this is going to stay put. We'll see what happens and see how we go. Obviously I'm not going to video all of it. So I'm going to start the mop on setting number 1. That's quite slow speed, but with those little blobs there, I don't want to start the machine up straight away. I actually want to disperse them. So where the wet patch is, I'm just going to, without the gun on, just run it over there. So now I'll start the mop up. With light pressure, let the mop do the work. Working backwards and forwards and side to side. Now if it starts to go a little bit dry, which you'll feel the mop start bouncing around and start grabbing, just give it a very, very light spray with water and start again. So as you go, all this polish will start to disperse, and then you'll actually get down to shiny stuff. So if I just put the mop down for a second and give this a wipe over, you'll actually start to see a bit of a result within that short space of time, but only working small, just over a foot square at a time. And there you can see already got a little bit of a shine going on. So obviously I've still got the rest of the bonnet to do. I don't want to bore you with it, but that's basically how I'll go now over the whole of the bonnet, basically polish it all back up, and I will show you the final result. So that's more or less it. There's just a little bit of work I just need to do just to get it up to scratch, but I think that's about it. That'll do. So all that's left for me to do now is clean the car up again, because there's evidence of me pissing about. But there we go. Wow, what a week that's been. It happens. So that's all from me in this video. Join me again real soon, and we'll be doing some more stuff on Mrs. Winn. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and smack that bell for notifications of new videos we put out, and don't forget to comment. Comments are always welcome, and as usual, take care of yourselves and each other. See you all again soon. Ta-da now.